The show begins with a pregnant woman running from a mysterious being while holding Thor's axe to defend herself, but she began to feel a massive pain as the baby was trying to force itself out of her stomach. She says some incarnations, and is well about to strike the unborn child, but the child suddenly comes in a normal way it should, and it turns out to be a girl. After 13 years, the baby is grown up as a teenager called Chrissy, who is being drove by her mother to her new school as they have just relocated to a new area. After she shows up at her new school, she bumps into a boy called Bennigan and befriends him. He invited her to a party which is going to take place at dawn, and she happily agrees. But Chrissy started feeling this severe pain in her body and excuses herself to the toilet. She tries to convince herself that all this is happening because of the food she ate last night, but she became terrified to find out that it is actually her period. While thinking of what to do, she sees Bennigan, who is being dragged into the bathroom by a group of bullies who are trying to cut off his flesh and post a video of it to the public, but the bullies came to realize that there is someone else in the bathroom after Chrissy yells out the moment she saw blood that came out of her form into a demon's face. As the bullies tries to broadcast her period to the world, Chrissy was suddenly possessed by a demon, and with a lift from her arm, she bursts the bullies like balloons and then creates a black hole that began to drain everything close by inside. However, Chrissy is back to normal and has no idea what she has done, but that's when her mother shows up at her school like Vin Diesel to drive Chrissy away from the danger, instructing her to burn all her pictures and sprinkle salt on her hair. Ever since she gave birth to Chrissy, she has been keeping a secret from her, but her mother Laura, feeling this is the right time, reveals to Chrissy that her father is the devil himself. According to the Bible, Chrissy was the Antichrist, and when she finally got her period, it was actually what formed the black hole, and now her dad, the devil, knows where she is now and will be coming to find her, so Laura drives her really far to a place the devil won't be able to find them. There is this man who was actually addressed as the unshaven man by the public. Joke apart, why doesn't this guy shaves? Because he looks really awful. Anyway, he sees the news about the black hole, and it turns out he has a created group of people who doesn't shave, as he calls them, so they can murder Chrissy to prevent the devil's cruel plans in coming to pass. Chrissy is shocked that out of all the men in the world, it was the devil her mom slept with, and she was like, let me reach out of my father to know what he got to say to me, but her mother refuses. They both get into an argument, and Laura, being so fed off by all these, handcuffs her daughter in the toilet, so she won't contact her dad in any way. But the followers of the devil still appear in front of Chrissy, saying they can take her to her dad, but only if she must willingly agree to go with them. She said yes, but of course with the condition of allowing her to attend a night party Bennigan invited her to, and the demons didn't see this as a problem at all. They create a portal to teleport her to the place, and when Laura shows up only to seek her daughter to be taken away by those demons, she uses her gun to take down one of them, but that didn't stop the rest of the demons from taking Chrissy away. She was brought to hell, and her dad made this really cool dramatic entrance, but is so shocked to see his successor is actually a girl, and he shapeshifts into his real appearance and applauds her for murdering people for the first time in her life. The devil reveals his plans to create a kind of world, but of course by destroying the old one created by God, so they can live peacefully without any rules or laws. He also reveals to her that everyone on Earth is just being delusional, because where he stays is not hell, but a beautiful place like paradise called the metaphysical realm. Meanwhile, Laura goes really crazy concerning her daughter dismissal and suddenly opens her shirt, which reveals a really muscular body like The Rock and a badass tattoos on it. She crushes some skeleton bones, and upon putting them inside her mouth, she says some incarnations to go inside the metaphysical realm to get back her daughter, appealing to her neighbor to watch over her body until she gets back. After she arrives in the realm, she pulls out the broken skeletons from her mouth and puzzles them into a gun and blasting it on a demon charging towards her, pouring a kind of potion on a creature's mouth so it can fall under her command. Still at the metaphysical realm, the devil takes Chrissy to a bar, and after introducing her to everyone, he transforms some demons into a carriage to send Chrissy to her party as he promised. But during the father and daughter conversation, Laura shows up with a monster she tamed and began killing all the demons, and after that she gets into a fight with the devil. But when she gains the upper hand, she tries to stab his manhood, but the devil uses his powers and pulls her away. Chrissy sees all these really confused on what to do, but just left anyways on the carriage and attends the party. Bennigan is so grateful to her for saving his life from the bullies, and the two started to get to know each other better, but just few moments after that happens, the man who doesn't shave, oh sorry I meant the unshaven man, arrives with his group at the party to kill Chrissy. And while the fight between her parents were still ongoing, a demon in form of a snake informs the devil that someone is trying to harm their daughter. Hearing this, they had no choice but to stop their childish fight and go rescue their daughter. The men apprehended Chrissy, who, after finding out what they wanted to do to her, uses her powers to try and burn them, but these guys were with purified church items, which they used to restrain Chrissy to unconsciousness. The group of unshaven men began to say some spells, and their leader immediately brings a dagger to kill her. But one of the kids across shoots a gun at the leader balls, saying the devil has possessed her. And that moment, the devil also began to possess the rest of the unshaved group, forcing them to shoot their own balls, which is a really terrifying way for a man to die. Their leader, who sees the devil has the upper hand, decided to escape to get his revenge later, while Chrissy is so furious because of the bad relationship between her parents. The devil returns back to his realm in shock concerning how powerful his wife has become, but that doesn't matter much to him because he is soon going to gain control over the world as soon as he gets the support of his daughter. Just one night on Earth, we see a priest casting out a demon from a little child's body, and this is actually the devil himself who is teaching Chrissy how to possess people. He actually willingly left the little child's body and is now transformed into a locust, telling his daughter to give it a try. As Chrissy started to focus, her spirit suddenly goes out of her body and possesses the boy once again, and she even impersonates the voice of the boy, making the devil really proud of her, as this kind of thing can take a demon years to master. He later sends Chrissy back home, while after the devil returns back to his realm, he tells his demon that after a few days of spending time with his daughter, he is going to take out his pride into begging Laura so their daughter can be residing with him here in this realm, and only then will he have a big chance on taking control over the world. Back at Earth, Laura witnesses Chrissy possessing a man, forcing him to do ridiculous stuffs, so she yells out to her to get back to her body to have breakfast and tells her daughter that if she keeps possessing people all the time, she might become totally as evil as her father without the ability to differentiate between good or bad. She just wants her daughter to live a normal life, and instead of messing around all the time, she can instead be using her abilities for the better good for everyone. Chrissy forgot everything her mother told her in just a few minutes until Bennigan also encourages her in using her powers in the right way, like possessing people and making good decisions, and just then an argument between a student and a school chef gets their attention, and Chrissy decided to use this as a chance by possessing the chef, making the both of them to come in good terms with each other, preventing any fight from occurring. Back at the metaphysical realm, a demon called Asmodeus meets with the devil whom used to work for him to possess thousands of people, and it appears that both of them have made a deal, which is when the time for the devil to take over the world arrives. Asmodeus will be in charge of a realm called the Maximus Donuts, but the devil replies that his contract with him was just fake, as his promises were all just made up to get him to do what he wanted in the past. Asmodeus is forcefully taken out of the metaphysical realm, but swears to take revenge of the devil for cheating on him. Meanwhile, Chrissy is now turning to be a different person, just as her mom wanted, as she uses her powers to assist people around her area, but since her soul is no longer in her body at the moment, things began to take a dark turn as Asmodeus uses the chance to possess Chrissy's body. Laura shows up and picks up Chrissy from school, apologizing on her attitude towards her in the morning. Chrissy accepted her apologies without much talk, which is something Chrissy would never do, making Laura to suspect something off about her. As soon as she returns back home, she talks to a demon from the metaphysical realm, and after finding about the fight between Asmodeus and the devil, Laura became really sure that Chrissy was actually being possessed. She quickly unveils an artifact which has the ability to drag out a soul from a particular body, and handed a jar to her neighbor Darlene to capture the soul with the jar when it's out. The already possessed Chrissy tells her mother to drive her to a location where she wants to do her Earth history project, which Laura accepted, not being aware of what is about to unfold. She tells Chrissy that before they leave, she has to dip her face inside the bucket of water for a few seconds, giving her a silly reason for that. When Chrissy finally does so, Laura immediately tries to use the artifact to drive the soul out of her body, but their plans gets disrupted by Bennigan, who came to visit Chrissy. Laura still didn't mind at this moment and brings out Asmodeus' soul of Chrissy's body, but immediately possesses Darlene's body, but quickly Laura performs a spell to tie down Darlene's hands, leaving Asmodeus with nowhere to escape. But it turns out that the soul of Darlene got into Bennigan's body, while Bennigan's soul is in Chrissy's body. Meanwhile, Chrissy is in the body of a random guy continuing her good work for the community, but her attention is taken to a huge crowd, where she notices the people are angry with the newly elected mayor as he refuses to answer their questions. Chrissy decided to possess the mayor to render solutions to the problem, but unfortunately she made everything worse, leading the people to get really angry, wanting to whoop the mayor's ass. Chrissy inside the mayor's body gets really afraid by this, and her soul unconsciously splits into various parts to possess the protesters until Laura arrives in confusion, wondering why Chrissy's soul is in the body of everyone, and Asmodeus tells her that her soul has been overstrained from going into so many bodies, causing her to lose control, and warn her that her soul will possibly be spreading into more bodies if nothing is done, and her spirit will be lost forever. The devil arrives to save his daughter by trying to swap their souls, especially his daughter, back to their rightful body, but he made a mistake in the process as Asmodeus ended up inside Chrissy's body, which he uses this as a perfect opportunity to escape from them. Laura tells the devil to chase after Asmodeus while she tries her best to reunite Chrissy's scattered soul before it becomes lost. The devil runs after Asmodeus in order to reclaim his daughter's body, but Asmodeus grabs a police pistol and threatens to shoot his daughter's head, but the devil appeals to him to calm down as this fight is actually between both of them, so his daughter should be left out of this, and even asks for forgiveness concerning the fake agreement he had with him, acknowledging him for the sacrifices he has made, but Asmodeus is fooled by the lies of the devil once again as he got the chance to remove his soul out of his daughter's body and places it inside a box and kills him immediately. Meanwhile, Laura, who is still trying to unite her daughter's soul together, says a word Chrissy always says when she's asleep, making their daughter's soul to finally live their bodies and unite as one, then eventually returning back to her own body. After a few days, we see Laura torturing a green-like monster who came from another realm called the Plurable Realm, as she is really curious to know the reason for his sudden visit on Earth. But when Laura is about to get answers, she gets interrupted by her neighbor Darlene, who persuades Laura to join her at a party tonight. After so much hesitation, she finally arrives at the party, but just only a few minutes of staying there, she gets fed up by the vibes in the place, not before she is met by a guy dressed in suit who introduces himself as a social observer, but funny enough, lying to Laura was a really bad move as she has the ability to detect lies and she is aware that the guy is a murderer. Back at the metaphysical realm, the devil takes Chrissy to the show to watch a drama, but she is bored by it and decided to go back to Earth, but the devil begs her not to go as he has lots of activities to do with her today. Meanwhile, Laura allows herself to be captured by the suited man who brings out a knife and places it on her neck, but her friend Darlene kills the man from behind thinking Laura was in danger, but instead of saying thank you, she lets Darlene know that she wasn't actually in trouble, but this was just actually part of her plan to get something she needs. She opens a portal at a wall nearby and takes the dead man inside to clean up the mess Darlene just made, ordering her to stay and guard the portal. But after a few seconds, she suddenly sees Darlene inside and became really angry because if any liquid substance touches the portal, it will be closed and they will be trapped. Just at that moment, an intoxicated guy goes outside and pees on the portal, causing it to close. Meanwhile, the devil takes Chrissy to a small realm in the metaphysical world known as the Whippy Tickle to train her on how to use her powers against monsters, as they are going to be challenging the most strongest monsters in all the realms. But going into a match that can kill them is not what Chrissy wanted to bond with her father, but the devil tells her it will be very okay and exciting. After all, there isn't nothing to be worried about, as the devil claims to be the most powerful being in the universe, but then pushes her to fight the monster on her own, making her to see him as a coward. However, she shoots a fireball from her hands, causing the monster to fall, but is startled concerning how powerful she's becoming by the day, and together, the devil and Chrissy kills the monster, but they still have 23 monsters to kill. On the other hand, Laura takes Darlene to live with a creature called Jimmy, as she needs to search for a large substance called the Goofer Dust she can use to create a portal that can take them back to Earth. Meanwhile, Chrissy and her father successfully defeated all the monsters and just have one more left to face, and the Spider Queen in charge of the match allows the audience to choose a challenger for the competitors, and they chose Manhandle, who is the most powerful among all the monsters, as they really wants to see the devil fight a worthy opponent. However, when the match started, the monster poses his attacks on the devil and gains the upper hand after causing an injury on his stomach, but Chrissy kills the monster to save her dad from danger. But that's when the Spider Queen comes out after suspecting something really off, because the devil she knew can kill 1,000 monsters without any effort at all, but after seeing the injuries he obtained, she came to realization that the devil is actually losing his powers, and the only way to regain back that power is by using Chrissy. The devil tries to convince his daughter that the Spider Queen is just lying until he was asked to prove to her if he still has powers by defeating her in a fight, and they traps Chrissy in a bubble to watch, as the queen spider unleashes thousands of spiders out of her body to fight the devil. That was how this episode ended. Thank you for watching, guys. If you want to see more of these episodes, please subscribe to this channel and let me know in the comment section below. Bye.